Hey guys, it's Tossivids here. I'm back. I got a haircut. And this is part 3 of Yamato vs. Iowa. Now, part 3 will be focused on optics, radar, and damage control. And we're going to start off with optics. And more specifically, their range, how good they were, and how accurate they were. And of course, the examples I'll be using will be from Battles of Samar and Operation Hailstorm, which I've mentioned before in parts 1 and 2. Parts 1 and 2. Now, I could spend this video using calculations and theories based on the heights and positioning of the radars and optics, but that makes a lot less sense than using actual historical evidence, because things that look great on paper oftentimes failed in real life. So first off is the ranges, and this is easy because they both engaged small warships or similar-sized warships at a long range. For Iowa, it was the destroyer Noaki, and for Yamato, it was the destroyers and destroyer escorts of Taffy 3. Thankfully, the Fletcher class and the Kagero class are pretty similar in shape and size, especially height, which is important, the height of the mast and the bridge. Currently, I only have the information about height on two other Japanese classes, the Watatate class and the Fubuki class, and they are both slightly shorter, like 8-10 feet shorter than the Fletcher class, which is what Taffy 3 had. Now, that's fine because if you look at the classes and the dates that they were built in, you see that the heights of the destroyers is slightly taller and taller as time goes on. I think Watatake was like 70 feet, the mast. Fubuki was like 78 feet or like 76 feet. And they were built in 1920 and 26 respectively, which means that Kagero, which was built in 1939, would be a bit taller and would probably be about the same height as a Fletcher class destroyer. In case you didn't know, Noaki was a Kagero class destroyer, which is why I mentioned that. So as I've said before, the Center Force, which was Yamato and her escorts, spotted Taffy 3 at a range of around 35,000 meters. And the action report mentions six cruisers, 6 carriers, and 1 cruiser. Now, the cruiser was actually a destroyer, but that's not really relevant. What matters is that the range was 35,000 yards. Not yards, meters. That's also important because meters are a lot larger than yards. On a related note, Iowa lost optical tracking of or sight of Noaki at around 35,500 yards. Now, meters, that's... I'm not really prepared for this, I'm sorry. I'll be right back. 35.5 thousand yards is around 32.4 thousand meters. And that's important because this means that Yamato was able to spot destroyer around 3,000 meters, or 3 kilometers, or around 2 miles farther out than Iowa was. This means that her optics were either longer ranged or superior in quality, both of which are significant. A 3-kilometer advantage, even if it's just for spotting, is a big difference in naval warfare. Now, radar is where it gets a little iffy because there isn't that much great information on the performance of Yamato's Type 22 radar. What we do know is that it was certainly able to detect the battleship Ise, or the battleship carrier hybrid Ise, in Tokyo Bay during tests at around 35,000 yards. No, 35,000 meters. Now that's like a single performance. We don't know the upper or lower limits. As for Iowa, we have a little bit more information. We know that the maximum range, you know what I mean? The maximum range at which the radar could detect the range of the target was around 40,000 yards, or 40,000 yards, or around 36.5 thousand meters. And we know that it lost track of Noaki at around 39,000 yards, or 35.6 thousand meters. This means that it performed a little bit better, sort of, than Yamato's radar, but as we saw from Noaki, it ranges where Iowa could see Yamato optically, but Yamato could not. That type, that Mark A FC radar wouldn't really be accurate enough to land shells on Yamato, even if Yamato was oblivious to the fact that Iowa was there. So, yeah. Well, I guess the detection thing does kind of help, but still, it's not. As for damage control, there wasn't much of a disparity between the two. I think Yamato was a bit more compartmentalized, but difference was pretty negligible, and the fact that the damage control is more based on the skill levels and luck, like certain factors of the day, rather than actual ship-based factors. So that's not really comparable. So that was part 3 of Yamato vs. Iowa. Thank you for watching. And by the way, if you see any people online, like in a debate about the EFC systems of Yamato and Iowa, send them over to my part 2 of this series, which will be like right here, because a lot of people are misinformed about that topic. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.